Talking today with a Quincy environmental scientist, Julianne Sullivan, because Earth Day is coming up, Julie. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again too, Joe.
It's been almost a year, I think, since we last chatted, and we're still virtual, unfortunately. But the good thing is you're going to be having an in-person Earth Day event, right?
So it's actually over Zoom,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, a component of it though is in real life. So we're going to be doing a trail scavenger hunt. So it's still a fun way for people to remain distanced, and it will be held over the school vacation week. So people will have plenty of time to get out there. If anyone hasn't heard yet, we just launched a citywide trail map, and I'm very excited about it. Lots of months of hard work went into doing that and working with the GIS coordinator to kind of get that live and online and accessible for folks to use. So we're kind of hoping to promote that through the trail scavenger hunt. And we will be having Patrick Hogan from the Neponset River Watershed Association as our guest speaker via Zoom on Earth Day at noon. So hopefully that kind of time will work for people maybe on their lunch break or otherwise if folks want to tune in. I think it should be a really interesting presentation. He'll be talking about kind of stormwater related issues and how we can prevent water pollution and some of the stormwater projects that they're working on in Quincy. So I think it'll be really interesting content and pretty applicable to everyone.
Okay, well, this is certainly much more than we're able to do Earth Day 2020, right? I remember we had talked just prior to that, and you were just kind of hoping that folks might share some of their experiences, online. How did that work out, actually?
Um, you know, it just was kind of an attempt to have some kind of honoring of Earth Day in terms of like we had in-person events planned and we weren't really planning for the pandemic. So it was kind of a bummer, a month out of the gate after everything shut down, just trying to figure out ways to encourage people to still celebrate the day somehow. So I think, we're a year out from that and we've figured out a lot of things that we still can do despite not being able to gather in person and all that. So I think that this year we're in a little bit better shape to at least have some kind of official event. And even though it's not on Earth Day, on May 1st, the city's hosting Cleaner, Greener Quincy again. So I think that's kind of like the reemergence of these sort of in-person cleanup type things is really positive.
Right, that'll actually will be in person. It'll be much smaller in
Mhm.
scale, certainly, and there'll be no celebration afterwards because of the pandemic. But that will be an
Right.
opportunity to get out and about. What is Earth Day, Julie? Tell me a little bit about the history of Earth Day, if you could.
Sure. So Earth Day started in the 70s. So it's been around for a few decades now. And it was sort of just a day to create awareness about environmental problems. And this was, around the time that there was a lot of public push to kind of establish some kind of regulatory presence in that way. And so, not long after the first Earth Day, we got the Clean Water Act, we got the Clean Air Act, we got the EPA. So all of these things kind of happen in tandem with a lot of environmental activism. So I think that that energy is still very much alive today. And each Earth Day is a new opportunity to kind of engage new folks who might not really be tuned into these environmental types of topics and issues all the time. And it's a really fun excuse to get outside to better your local environment and just, be informed about the planet that we live on. So I think it's, I'm kind of cheesy in the way that it's one of my favorite holidays, but you shouldn't be surprised by that as I am an environmental scientist. But it's a really great day and it's in the spring, things are starting to pop out again and people can really take a minute and appreciate, that I'm sure everyone's exhausted after this winter. So I think it's just, a celebration of the planet that we live on.
Yeah. What is actually kind of the mission of your department, if you will, and what have you learned about the environment of Quincy, since the brief time you've been here in the city?
Sure. I think our department is really tasked with a lot. The city of Quincy has 27 miles of coastline, and that's just kind of a indicator of how much more acres of marsh and wetland and other things that we have that we need to protect. Some of these things are just so beautiful that it's mind blowing to me that they're located all in one city. And we really have a wealth of natural resources to protect, whether it's the ocean, whether it's something a little bit more inland, like a pond, and something even more inland toward the Blue Hills, where we actually have, I won't call them mountains, but hills and things. So we have so much variety of sort of different types of environments and different types of topography throughout the city. So we kind of apply that to our work in a way that we have to figure out a plan and a management plan to protect these resources into the future, because they definitely make Quincy special.
Right. I know one of your major success stories just happened, right? For
Yeah.
those ponds. Yeah.
hmm Very excited about that project. We just, for anyone watching who didn't know, we got approval from City Council last night to move forward with pretty much a full-blown restoration project at Butler's Pond, including dredging to kind of restore the depth and take out some of the nasty stuff that's just been lurking there for years and years. So that'll help improve the water quality, it'll improve the habitat, and then we're also going to install a wetland at one end of the pond to kind of prevent it from getting polluted again. So I'm really, really excited about that. And that was a huge highlight of my week so far. And it's only Tuesday. So
Yeah. Congratulations. That's
thank
great.
you.
So, and I'm curious about this mapping, walking trail map that you developed. How many trails does it include, and how do folks access it?
So it includes a little bit under 20 trails, but over 45 miles worth of trails
Hmm.
overall. And right now you have to go through the city website to get there. So if you go on the city website under the Department of Natural Resources, under the environmental subpage, and you click on trails, it'll take you to a whole separate web page where we have not only the maps, but historical and ecological information about the trails that I at least found really interesting. I think the public will find it interesting as well. And yeah, it's kind of just a really big inventory of all of these trails in Quincy that I know some folks who live in Quincy who didn't even know about some of
Mhm.
these spots before. And I'm a big, I like to go on walks all the time. Before the pandemic, went on a lot of walks on my lunch break, and I still do. I don't know why I'm saying before the pandemic, because I think out of anything, we've been able to do things outside. And that was kind of the inspiration to move this project forward, is that I've noticed how many more people are looking for places to go out and about outside. So I figured if we could catalog these resources and make them available, that would be a really positive thing.
Yeah, it might be something that's very close to someone's home and they never even knew. Are these all the trails in Quincy, or just a sample of them?
As far as I know, I mean, I'm hoping too. I kind of created a piece of this webpage where people can reach out to me and, give me suggestions on how to improve this, add new trails if there are new trails that we kind of haven't uncovered yet. I used Google Maps a lot in the beginning to kind of see things from space, to
Mhm.
see like, oh, maybe that looks like a trail from the woods or something. And there were some that I'd known about before, some that are kind of integrated in our park. So it's sort of a mixed bag of the different sorts of walking places in Quincy. So I still encourage anyone, if they know about something that I don't know about, that I can come out and map it, add it to the database, and make it a better website.
Yeah, no, and do you think you might do it for other environmental attractions in the city? I don't know, recreation areas, ponds, beaches, things like that.
Yeah, as I was saying, I would love to do a beach inventory. I think that's kind of next on my list. There's a ton of potential for these areas in the city, and many of them are city owned, if not all of them, except for Wollaston Beach. So I think we definitely need to invest a lot more in the city beaches. And so I'm kind of just trying to, in my day-to-day work, kind of just check out what they look like at low tide versus high tide, and hoping to do some kind of more formal analysis of those beaches this summer.
Great. But in the short term, it's Earth Day, and why don't you tell us about it again? And while you're doing that, I will show folks a flyer that you put together to talk all about it.
Sure. So, as I mentioned earlier, Earth Day is one of my favorite holidays as an environmental person, but also as the idea that it's kind of a day that is truly just meant to honor our planet and get involved, spend time outside, realize all of the beautiful things that this planet does for us. And to honor that this year, our department is working with the Neponset River Watershed Association to offer a presentation virtually on Earth Day, the 22nd at noon. And we'll just be kind of discussing some stormwater related topics and water pollution topics that are relevant to everybody. And I think it should be a highly informative and interesting presentation.
How do folks actually access this, Julie?
So I did share a Zoom link with you. I wasn't really sure how to integrate it into this nice image that you see in front of you, but I'm trying to get that Zoom info out there. I shared it with City Hall, so we'll probably be sharing it on social media and any kind of online medium where we could share a link like that.
Okay, and maybe folks could email or call you at your office if that would work.
Absolutely, yeah. I'd be happy to share that info.
Great. And do you know, are there any types of outdoor activities happening at all on that day in the city?
Not that I'm aware of on
Okay.
that particular day. As I did mention, Cleaner Greener is coming up on May 1st. I think that's probably the best opportunity to get involved. And I know actually this weekend, I believe it is April 17th, the Neponset River Watershed Association is going to be hosting a cleanup near the Neponset River at some sites in Quincy. So I'm sure that there's more information about that on their website as well.
Okay, and that's a great resource as well. The River Walk that was just recently added not too long ago, right along the Neponset River.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a really great spot, and that's actually within the trails as well. I love that area, but it definitely does need a little bit of tender loving care sometimes, especially like these oceanside spots that kind of catch a lot of debris. If it's sort of an inlet, they can really pick up a lot of trash pretty quickly. So I think these kind of events are crucial to kind of maintaining these resources as well.
Yeah, we do live in a densely populated urban area, and trying to keep the environment pristine is a constant challenge, I'm sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Anything else we'd like to share with folks right now?
Thank you for tuning in, and I really hope that you find a way to get involved this Earth Day. And if it's not on the actual day itself, as I mentioned, we have some pretty great cleanup events going on in the city. Every person makes a difference when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I really encourage you to get out, learn a little bit about the place around you and why it's so special, and let's all work together to take care of it.
Yeah, I'm sure you were probably disheartened when the ban on plastic bags kind of fell by the wayside. I know that's a big issue, and especially in urban areas.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of an intricate issue as well too, because in a lot of these places where I see the plastic bag bans, sorry, they're replacing like the little thin plastic bags with these like super duper thick plastic bags that are supposed to be reusable, and I'm like, wait, is that actually helping? So
Right.
I don't know. It's kind of it's obviously a good thing in terms of banning single use type things, but we have to think about, what are we replacing with?
Right. Have you heard anything from the communities that are banning plastic water bottles, and if that's had any positive impact at all on pollution?
I haven't heard from them at all, no. And I'd be curious to know more about how that works, especially in terms of supply chain type
Mhm.
stuff, because I'm wondering how far they have to go with the producers to kind of establish that and if it's effective in that way.
Right. Yeah.
But that's definitely an interesting subject.
Yeah. But I mean, to have a short-term immediate impact, you can clean up your own street or even your own yard, right?
Absolutely. There's unfortunately plenty of stuff out there to clean up, so can never have a shortage of hands on that.
Sure. Could you just give out your office number and email, Julie, if you could?
Sure. So my email is juliannesullivan@quincyma.gov, and my office number is 617-376-1287. And feel free to reach out to me anytime with issues that pertain to anything I discussed today and beyond, as long as it's related to the environment.
Great. Great to talk to you, and have a happy Earth Day.
Likewise. Thank you.